All right, real quick. I want to talk about this film, Scary Movie, real quick. I'm about to make this super, super quick. So I watched a couple movie reviews before I watched this film, and both people had said that they were kind of let down by the movie. It wasn't all that funny, but I never really listen to what people have to say. I always, go into it with my own opinion. But with that being said, yeah, man, this movie was not the best. It's kind of hard defending it. It seemed like they were talking about that they're gonna go over the top with some of the jokes, but they didn't do that. It seemed like some of the jokes stopped halfway. It kind of felt like they were going for something more, but they just didn't finish the jokes. And a lot of jokes felt like they didn't finish them, and it felt like this was just one long, well, no, like one long movie filmed with like individual SNL skits in between. You can't really talk much about the plot because there's not really much of one. I chuckled a few times. I thought Marlon Wayans was pretty funny in the film. But when you get towards the end of the film, right, where there's the reveal that, a spoiler, that Anthony Anderson is one of the killers, and they said, oh yeah, and I brought Kevin Hart. But then, he takes the mask off and it's Shaquille O'Neal. And they start talking about, Scary Movie 3 and 4 and how the first two were better. And then, Sean and Marlon start asking, Cindy and well, why did you guys star in 3 and 4 and whatever. It just felt like they had something to get off their chest and they wanted to use this movie as a way to do that. And they wanted to use the movie like as a catalyst for that or whatever. The movie had its funny parts, but you can tell from the opening scene that something was just off. And one of the problems with that, this film was not filmed by Keenen Ivory Wayans. He filmed the first two. He directed the first two films. This guy, I think the guy that directed this was the same person that directed Haunted House with 1 and 2 or whatever, the Sextuplets and stuff like that. And no offense, Marlon Wayans, I think he's a comedic genius. I find him to be very funny. But whenever he's doing his own films, they're not that good. They're really not. Whenever Keenen Ivory Wayans is behind the camera, it's like the magic of all the brothers really comes to light. Because I find Marlon to be kind of self-indulgent at times, where he'll start telling a joke and the joke is kind of funny, but he doesn't know how to cut the joke off. He just keeps going, and we're kind of like ha 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 going along with it. I felt like Keenen Ivory Wayans, he's a little bit more subtle with his comedy. He kind of knows when to snip and stop the joke when he sees people aren't laughing, or how to go with the flow and make it a little bit more funnier. The movie, like I said, it had its parts that were